which is community members, residents, organizations who are identifying a real cycle, a real problem that's occurring here in the South Bronx and other places where it's mostly predominantly people of color. So, you know, we're looking at where our local government agencies like the state, the city, will, under agencies like EDC, the IDA, which are acronyms for Industrial Development Agency, Economic Development Agency, and also on the state level is the Empire State Development Corporation. They would like to make our community like the food hub for New York City. But the only problem is that the food does not come here. It goes by our neighborhood, but what we do get is, what, 1,000, like Tanya said, 16,000 daily truck trips per day through our community. Well, we now have, what, some of the highest acid rates in the country right here in this community, right? You know, and we're here used as, like, again, Manhattan's, like, place where this dump on the South Bronx so we can provide to Manhattan, right? It has to be another way that they do business. And the only way that's going to happen is by us coming together and speaking and being united and understanding and identifying these kind of situations and saying no more in our community, right? So I just want to talk to you about how, which Tanya and I'm sure all of you know about how some of these injustices in terms of how they think they know better than we do and they don't want to really incorporate us into the discussion. It creates what? Low-wage jobs. It also gives us like highest acid rates in the country, some of the highest rates of obesity, some of the highest rates of unemployment, and these $8 an hour part-time jobs are what they're creating is another cycle of poverty. So we're not included in the conversation. It creates poor health conditions. It creates poverty. And then we have, you know, our children living in an area where it's like 49% of them are below the level of poverty. So there's no way out of it. It's a cycle they're trying to keep it going, but the only way we can stop is by unifying together. So, you know, one, like Tanya mentioned, one project that really stuck out and kind of slapped us in the face and said, oh, it just has to stop, was the project FreshDirect is trying to propose. This was done, I mean, this is like $127 million trying to be given of our taxpayer money to one company to relocate from Long Island City, Queens to the Bronx to occupy land that's, of course, like Tanya mentioned, waterfront land. And it's also Native American, it's documented to be Native American burial ground and settlement. And the city and the state are saying, so what? We wanted to make sure we provide what they call jobs. But we know the jobs are $8 an hour, they're part-time mostly, and our people, the people who work there aren't able to sustain life on an $8 an hour job. Something's really wrong with that mathematics. You know, but what they will give us though, or what they're saying is for our community, is this type of advertisement. They're saying, of course, you can get all these great things if FreshDirect comes to this community, right? Is this geared towards the Bronx? Or who is it? Is it for someone else? Exactly. Look at the pictures. Don't they speak for themselves? They actually put a $2 million ad campaign to 2 zip codes in the Bronx, the areas in which was going to be the point of reference for their relocation. So they tried to organize support for their project, for this move, by advertising, saying, we'll give you 50% off on your first delivery, we'll do this, we do that, and because we came together as a community, you know, they've given all kind of incentives trying to change the consciousness around, our consciousness around what this really means to the people of the South Bronx. You know, so what will we receive in the South Bronx? In their own documentation they submitted to the IDA for funding of more than $80 million, the state's trying to give them $50 million, they're going to give us 938 daily diesel truck trips per day through the community. In addition to what Tanya's already talking about. So 16,000 per day, another 1,000, right? They're not going to, they had no intention on serving us in terms of providing food to this community. They hadn't done so in their 10-year history, right? So they will give us this. They also will give us this. After they're located on a flood zone in Long Island City, Queens. They lost half their fleet to flood waters in Long Island City. What they gave us in terms of trying to be, showing how they're going to be a good neighbor, they brought their dirty, dilapidated garbage trucks to Mott Haven, or the Harlem River Rail Yard, which is the land they're trying to occupy. In the background, you can see how green that area is. Just behind that area is Randall's Island, is baseball fields. To the right of this photo is garbage trucks. So what occupies this land right now is a 5,000 ton per day waste transfer station, FedEx Hub, New York Post,